And so the next chapter he entitles Transcending Desires and Purifying the Samskaras. So it's getting down to the seeds that are underneath all of this process. In the previous chapter, we described briefly the 4 urges for food, sex, sleep, and self-preservation, and explained how they are the root causes for negative emotions. Because of this, learning to skillfully balance and channel these urges is an important step on the spiritual path. To make progress on the path of spirituality, one needs to understand the urges, their purposes, and how to satisfy these urges. The purpose of fear is to lead you to question and understand why you have that fear in the first place. As you examine your fears, you will learn that all your fears are somehow false and based on misunderstandings. There is no truth or reality to your fears. Many fears remain buried within you, and you never really examine them, so you remain at their mercy. And where are those stored? They're stored in chitta. So there's a dance going on between these emotions, the 4 primitive fountains, the 4 functions of mind, and the underlying fears that are stored in the chitta, that we remain at their mercy, as he says here. In fact, you are afraid to examine your fears, but you should learn to examine each fear one by one, and to encounter them and be free of their control. This process is very important. Every human being has certain fears. Throughout my life, I have tried to observe and understand the way fear affects people and influences their lives. Then he goes on to tell a couple stories. He says everyone has fears. The urge that is the root of these fears is the desire for self-preservation. So the root of the fears is desire. Desire for what? Desire for self-preservation. Of course you should desire to preserve and protect yourself, but you should also understand your urges in a little greater depth. Why are you an individual? Were you created merely to remain a separate individual? The desires for both self-preservation and sex have important roles in your life. Why does a human being become so involved in sexual drive and activity that he thinks only about that? One reason is that there are 2 varieties of joy in life. One is called Vishya Ananda, the kind of joy that you obtain when you do sex. Such joy does not last very long. He doesn't provide us with a nice Sanskrit term, but the other joy is essentially that joy to awaken, to know the joy of the center of consciousness, enlightenment. Anything in the world that you enjoy or that gives you joy does not really last for a very long time. Such joy is fleeting. The object that gives you joy or pleasure, the object which becomes a reason for you to live or act, that object itself changes. There is no object on earth that does not change, that does not go through the process of change, death, and decay. So it is impossible for such objects to give you lasting joy. But there is something that does. When you go beyond these objects, then you finally find joy in the center of consciousness. Happiness is the ultimate goal. All your actions in the world, whether you eat your food, get married, or have children, homes, or friends, these all exist for your happiness. But do these objects of the world give us that complete happiness? They offer the best of joys for a moment, but not everlasting happiness. When you go to the source within, you see the light in your partner. Then you realize My partner is not a mere body or an object of sensory gratification, but a human being who has the light of divinity within. When both partners realize that, then your relationship is a complete temple. When you understand that a human being is a shrine, then you don't need to go to any external temple, church, or chapel to pray. That experience is love. Love means knowing the truth within. Then suddenly you will discover yourself giving all that you have without any condition, because you have understood the truth. Without love, there is no meaning. To be free from all fear means to be one with the truth. Once you know the truth, you are free. Then you know that this person you fear has the same center of consciousness that you have. So you are not afraid of the person. You need to adjust your mind, actions, and speech so that they are compatible with others whose mind, action, and speech do not relate exactly to yours. You'll find that you have problems doing this, but at the same time, if you follow this process, you'll also find that you become free and contented. You should allow your good thoughts to be expressed through your actions. Many times your good thoughts are not fully expressed. In this manner, you constantly damage and kill that sensitive inner part of you, which would help to bring about your own enlightenment and growth. Then a time comes when something negative has been built up inside of you because you are constantly hurting yourself, which is the greatest of all sins. Ramaji says, the only real sin in life is to kill your own conscience. If you do not kill your conscience, then you'll never commit mistakes because your conscience will guide you wisely. Buddhi. But the more mistakes you commit and the more you blame and condemn yourself, the more you hurt your conscience, which means you've loaded up the chitta with all that other noise, and then the conscience, the buddhi, is having to operate through that filter, which makes it difficult. The conscience is the clear mirror within you. It is not your mind, urges, or your emotions. Don't allow your conscience, buddhi, to be enveloped by the dust of ignorance. That's all stored in the chitta. And don't shatter or damage your conscience, but keep it clear by listening to it. The conscience is very helpful in dealing with your mind and its problem. We should listen.